It's another beautiful sunny day as we disembark at the French port of Toulon on the Côte d'Azur, the Blue Coast, the French Riviera. Rachel can't wait to get moving. We decided to take the train to the beach, if you see what I mean by the train. Actually a great way to start the day, getting a glimpse. First impressions are very impressive. We plan to have a look around before continuing the journey. Certainly loved the place.
We've just arrived in the port of Toulon, Côte d'Azur, and we're currently at the Lido, where there's several different alcoves of beach. You'll find that there's a mixture of history, military, and pleasure. So we're off to explore.
I'm immediately reminded of the thing I like most about cruising. The fact that we wake up in a totally different city each morning. On this occasion, it was an adorable place. Rachel clearly in agreement. Though she would love to be in the sea. Mind you, the sea here does look inviting. But so does Fort St. Louis. We decided to take a stroll, check out Fort St. Louis. Gives us a chance to appreciate different aspects of the place. The marvelous promenade. The fort now run by the French Navy. Not only does Toulon have beautiful beaches, it also has several marinas. It's a well-known venue for visiting yachts. Fort St. Louis was originally called Fort des Vignettes and was built on the orders of Vauban in 1692. Now its main claim to fame is that there's a great restaurant there with superb views. Nearby, beautiful homes, bearing witness that in times past, it was a favorite place for French naval officers. Nowadays, sea-view apartments dominate the seafront, though clearly some have stood for many years. I always imagine where I'd like to live when I'm traveling, and this top floor flat would suit me fine. The bay here is delightful, the homes and atmosphere splendid. I love the naval designs. I can tell you Rachel was loving this, and me too. When Rachel takes the camera, you can expect great shots. Our trip to this part of Toulon at an end, we plan to continue on our train ride and enjoy some totally different aspects of the city. So we jumped back on the train and began our journey into the city. Another chance to sit and watch the world go by. Travel involves pacing, a gentle stroll followed by an easy ride. Now, if Nate was with me, he'd want to visit the cafe at the renowned rugby club. But Rachel has other things on her mind. So we continue the journey to the city centre, at which point she moves like the wind to her favourite location, the shops. Toulon is a magnificent city with a fascinating past, situated between Marseille and Nice, not far from Cannes and Saint-Tropez, and the location of a number of historic affairs. This is where Napoleon, as a young artillery captain, made a name for himself at the Siege of Toulon. It's where the famous statue Venus de Milo was brought after it was discovered on the Greek island of Milo. The Stade Mayol is the home of the Toulon rugby team that was 3 times champion of Europe. Then we jumped on a number 40 bus that will take us to the cable car that ascends Mount Faron, the hill that overlooks the city. The return fare was €7.30, and it took about 5 minutes. The views? Splendid. The guidebook tells us that the top can be reached by cable car from Toulon or by a narrow, terrifying track. So you can understand why we had no problem paying the €7 return fare. And the relative peace of the bright red cable car. Enjoying the wonderful views over the bay and the city. I suppose that's the terrifying road down there, and clearly someone is running down it. On reaching the summit, the view was spectacular. Up top there's a coffee shop, so we had no choice but to have a coffee. There was a gentle breeze up there, and the coffee was excellent. So we sat a while and enjoyed the scenery and the peaceful atmosphere. It really was a superb vantage point from which to view the city, so Rachel and I sat and enjoyed the moment. One of those moments in time that she'd written about. After which we returned, though our exploration of this delightful city was to continue. After our trip up the mountain, we rode the bus back to the city and continued our exploration as we took a leisurely stroll back to the port. First stop was the Place de la Liberté, Freedom Square, a large open square that is one of the nicest parts of the city, just north of the old town of Toulon. A beautiful fountain is the centerpiece, surrounded by majestic buildings. Rachel was immediately intrigued by the fountain and went to stand right under it. Indeed, a spectacle with the statues and the backdrop of beautiful architecture. The former Grand Hotel, built in 1870, stands right behind the fountain, and since its inauguration in 2011 has been the home of the Liberté Theatre. The square is surrounded by cafes and the Galerie Lafayette, a major French department store. Then we made our way back to the ship, enjoying the sights on the way. Toulon has a charm of its own, and certainly is a great place simply to walk around and take in the sights. The Mediterranean weather playing its part in the fun. The port is the most important naval port in France. There's always something happening here. Cruise ships, navy vessels, flags fluttering. Our ship not too far away. We walked down the ocean front. And managed somehow to be the last on the ship again, with 2 minutes to spare. Literally 35 minutes later we were sailing away. Leaning on the ship's rail, seeing from a distance the places we'd visited, and in a way reliving the day. The memories we make last a lifetime. For Rachel and I, we shall relive them time and time again. Ernest Hemingway said, "Never go on trips with anyone you don't love." For us, that rings true. Travel is the only thing we buy that makes us richer. I asked Rachel, when was the last time you did something for the first time? She smiled and said, "Today. Thanks, Dad, and give me a high five." Now this is what I call living. The pilot leading us out of the bay. Tomorrow, we shall wake up in Barcelona, Catalonia, Spain, and I'll ask Rachel, when was the last time you did something for the first time?